There are a variety of different ways to zoom in and out of an image as well as pan around to see different areas. If we look at the View menu, there are 4 different options that I use quite often: zoom in, zoom out, fit on screen, and 100%. You'll notice that each one of these has its own keyboard shortcut. On Mac, it's the Command key. On Windows, it's the Control key. And you use plus or minus to zoom in and out, or 0 and 1 to either fit on screen or go to 100%. I'll go ahead and choose to view at 100%, and Photoshop automatically zooms in to that percentage. If I use the Command key and the minus key, that allows me to quickly zoom out every time I tap the minus key. If I switch to the plus key, I can quickly zoom in. If I use Command 0, then Photoshop will show me my entire image in the preview area. Sometimes this does appear at a very odd zoom percentage. We can see right now that it's fit to 37.1%. And every once in a while, I'll notice that my image looks a little bit jaggy at some of these odd percentages. So if that ever happens, just come in here and we can change this maybe to like 35%. And those jaggies typically will go away. Now let's take a look at the zoom tool. I can select it by tapping the Z key, or we can click on it in the toolbar. Every time I click in my image area with the zoom tool, it zooms in. If I want to zoom out, I can either switch to the zoom out option, or I can remain with the zoom in and just hold down the Option key or the Alt key on Windows. If I hold down the Option key, you can see that the icon in the center of the zoom tool switches from a plus to a minus. And now every time I click, I will zoom out. If I click and just hold down my mouse, Photoshop will continue to zoom into that area. This is called animated zoom, and if you zoom in far enough, you actually get this pixel grid overlay. Again, if I hold down the Option key and click and hold down the mouse, then we'll zoom out using that same animated zoom option. Now, if I click and drag to the left or the right with the zoom tool, well, clicking and dragging to the right will zoom in, and clicking and dragging to the left will zoom out. Another great way to zoom is using the Navigator panel. Now, the panels will be discussed in more detail in other videos, but for now, let's just select Navigator, and we can zoom in or out using the slider. Moving to the left will zoom out, moving to the right will zoom in. Once I'm zoomed in, I can reposition the rectangle here to zoom into a different area, or I can hold down the Command key and actually click